Carter's speech in Atlanta, you said it's based on humanitarianism, helping Haiti out. But can you explain the geopolitical goal, 12,000 kilometers away from Nairobi, when schools in the counties of Baringo, West Pokot, and Turkana have not yet opened because of the banditry problem, yet you are committing our national police force to Haiti, and where is the priority? This being one of your major manifesto pillars, talking about security, and to the extent that even the Defense Cabinet Secretary talked about the deployment of, if need be, the Kenyan military or the special personnel to make sure that schools are reopened, children go to school in areas that are bandit-prone in Kenya. Why are you committing to Haiti when we have a problem back home? Is it an irony that you are putting the fire in the faraway neighbor's when our own home is on fire?
On the matters pertaining to the deployment of the Kenyan police for the rescue team in Haiti, it might be a good move, or perhaps it might be a bad move. Many a times we have to know and to understand that choices have got consequences. We ought to have asked ourselves, what would be the impact of Kenyan taking her troops to Haiti for security? For me, I might stand to oppose that move, reason being, even in the country that we are living in, Kenya still faces a lot of insecurity. We have always been seeing mysterious deaths as a result of insecurity. People are attacked. Some people cannot even go to school. Some schools are not accessible. Some people are kind of just disappearing. Some people are found dead. So Kenyan government ought to have ensured that if they put enough security in that, you cannot give somebody something that you yourself, you have a deficit. So we ought to have ensured that our country is secured before we rush to secure somebody. We always say that you cannot, the Bible puts it like this, that a blind can never lead a blind, for all shall fall in the pit. So Kenya ought to have ensured that we have enough security before ensuring that we take security to Haiti. So for me, I completely oppose that move for Kenya to support Haiti with security. Let the government ensure that we have got enough security that will ensure that our pupils, our students can go to school safely, and we can walk safely, we can move safely, and we can transact our daily businesses safely without any fear. So to me, I completely oppose that move. Yes.
Okay, I have a question. Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Kenyan president, visiting the US White House, the move has now become so serious that him engaging with the president will at some point bring him some problem. What do you think?
Fine. The relationship between Kenya and the US, if it is a relationship that has got a good intention, then we say a nod and we give it a nod. But if we speculate that it will render Kenya into certain negative aspects economically, socially, politically, then as a country we should remain suspicious. We should be very careful dealing with the US. Maybe perhaps they might be having a hidden agenda. If their agenda is plain to ensure that the welfare of Kenyans are taken care of, then I don't have got a problem. But if we speculate that there would be a negative outcome where between the relationship of the US and Kenya, then we should really tread carefully with the US. So if it will bring a negative impact to our economy, then we should revise it. If it is going to have a good fruit, then we can as well go ahead to say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable Kennedy Franklin, I'm a guy who has been known for fighting for the rights of the people. They call me the human rights advocate. And therefore I would always want to appear at the forefront to ensure that we tackle and we touch on issues pertaining to the human rights. The issue that I want to discuss today with my fellow Kenyans is an issue that seems a bit burning. And it's an issue that has always been there. The only person who tried during his regime was our late brother Emilio Mwai Kibaki when he was serving his term as the president of Kenya. Today we are seeing the unexpected, and each and every Kenyan is feeling displeasure. People are overburdened by this menace of unstabilized economy of this country. I want to say that still we have to prepare ourselves to live with it. The reason being, we are the causes of this. There might be little that we would do to correct this mess that we are in, that we are crying. Today, it's very much difficult for someone to afford even to put a meal on the table. Some cannot even go to school. Some are languishing in dire and extreme poverty. They cannot even afford to pay their rent. But this starts, I always say that the problem starts with the voter and ends with the voter. Something that is quite ridiculous is that the same voter voted in these leaders, and then they come back to start crying, meaning that we lacked what is called voter education and civic education. So that is where the solution to our economy always starts with that. It is quite ridiculous. It is quite absurd that we have always been voting people who do not have the urge to change the lives of the people. And that is why year in, year out, we are voting in with the perception of voting a change, but we only see the lives of our leaders changing, but the lives of the voters continue to be so worse than it was. Today you vote a leader who is having nothing. 5 years in the office, this person has only managed to transform his life, her life, and complete generally their lives. They're driving big machines, they're living luxurious life, but to you, you come back, you're languishing in a complete poverty to an extent that you cannot even afford 10 bob for the sukuma. It is a high time that a Kenyan voter must wake up to know and understand what leadership is. Leadership should really be separated from money. Leadership is the mentality and the preparation of the leader who has been actually voted in to come and bring a change to the people who voted them in. But that is the opposite of what we are experiencing. Today, you have seen, and it is all over circulating in the media, the money that the president of the nation spent in his trip to US, which again is a bit expensive, rendering the people to be poor. How I wish that the president would work towards industrializing the country so to ensure that our people get employment. We have got very many graduates in this country. After graduation, people just come back, they are jobless, insecurity, a lot of problems. But we repeat ourselves in the same mistake. Now, 2027 is coming.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
It's now that Mr. President is using 200 million per hour to pay the private jet he used to US. How much do you think will be the total cost of the jet at the end of the journey? And what can that money do to Kenyans?
Wonderful. 200 million, when it is translated into a project, it would really create a positive impact in our economy that will as well create employment for millions of Kenyans who are rendered jobless. So if we have got leaders who can choose to live a simple life for the sake of ensuring that a Kenyan voter live a decent life, then we can have a good direction. But it is quite unfortunate that we have got leaders who want to exercise a complete luxurious life at the expense of forgetting the welfare of the people who voted them. So that is why I was saying the problem of poor economy in this country cannot be solved by leaders per se. It is a problem that starts and ends with the voters themselves. So I'm urging each and every Kenyan voter always to ensure that you vote in a leader who bears your interest before their interest.
Sure.
Yes.